Alrighty, let's see if this works. So, I am off to my job site early in the morning, driving off to Ratliff City again. That's that oil field place I was working at last time I did one of these driving in my car videos. And nothing really special, just, another day on the job. Got to go do some networking. And, it's not that hard of a job. It's a long drive, but it's got to get done. They seem happy that I'm doing it. Just found out that one of the guys I'm working with actually watches my YouTube videos, so that's kind of cool. We had a conversation the other day. I'm just now pulling out of a 7-Eleven where I'm grabbing these little taquito things. These are actually pretty good. Probably not that great for you, but they're easy to eat in the car. They don't make a mess. So, let's go drive for a while. And, a lot of people are like, Mark, why do you do all these kind of boring jobs? Well, because they pay the bills. A lot of work isn't really doing anything fancy. A lot of being successful is just getting up and doing it every day. It's kind of the secret of it. And a lot of it's not very flashy. But when stuff's got to get done, somebody's got to do it, and people are willing to pay for the guy that'll go out and get it done. And a lot of why I've gotten to where I'm at in life is because I'll do what I have to do every day, just getting done my tasks. Now, I don't always drive, for a couple hours out to the middle of nowhere to go and set up some networking equipment. Most of the time I'm working from home or working in the office, doing stuff closer to home around town up in Oklahoma City. But sometimes I have to travel and go down to Texas or go out to New York or go out to the far reaches of Oklahoma, wherever. You got to follow the money. And most of life is not that glamorous. And this is especially necessary for all the younger people to hear. Everybody I know who's become successful got there because they got up every day and did what they had to do. And, whether they're worth $100,000, $1 million, or $100 million, it's all the same. Spend your free time wisely to improve your skills. Do necessary things that people need done, or build the things that people need. Because people have to... We live in a specialized society. You can't just do everything yourself. So people are going to focus on what they're good at, and they're going to pay for the stuff that they need done that they're not good at. That's kind of a fundamental of modern civilization. In fact, we've been doing that as a civilization for 4,000, 5,000 years. So it's not like a new idea. And, in my case, I've got a number of useful skills. I can kind of build or fix anything. And so this lets me just go and do a lot of hands-on work for people who need it done. And that's kind of my shtick. And you got to find what works for you. Everybody's got some sort of talent, and if you don't have talent, you better develop some. Because the world can be a pretty unforgiving place for people who aren't, useful. So you've got to learn skills that make you useful. And because I don't think things are going to be getting any easier. I think that we're in for harder times. We probably reached the apex of American civilization around the 1990s, and we've been kind of slowly declining, and it sucks. But that's just what it is. And unfortunately, the people who run the show are generally either incompetent or corrupt, or both. And there's not a lot you can do about it, but what you can do is you can take control of your life. And a lot of it's just getting up early and getting done what you got to do. For example, I had to be out the door by 8 o'clock this morning, 7:45. But I wanted to be able to get some things done, so I got up at 5, and I started my day early. which kind of sucked a little bit because I was up until midnight playing video games with Uncle Jim. So I'm a little bit groggy, but I'll take a nap later when I get home. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone for, but I'll be gone a while. And that's actually another thing that I wanted to mention. It's good to get physical exercise and build up your stamina, even if you're not working in a physical field. You know, I do mostly computers and technology, science, engineering kind of stuff. And none of it's usually all that physically demanding. But, oh, it's the sheriff. Hello, Sheriff. But by building up physical stamina, I can endure a long, difficult day. And, you know, and when you have to have a rough day, you don't want to have like constant rough days one after another. If every day is a rough day, you're doing something wrong. But if you have stamina, you know, through exercise, training, discipline, you'll be able to get through the occasional tough day and kind of take it in stride. Because frankly, I want to get home, take a nap, and play video games again tonight, because why not? Hanging out with Uncle Jim in the evenings is one of the kind of my rewards, kind of one of the nice things. You got to have little things to motivate yourself. Because if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, you know, what's the point? You know, you need something to motivate you. And so structure your life with a series of rewards, but you have to make sure that it's proportional. Don't be like all rewards and no work. You've got to make sure you have little rewards to encourage you, but most of it still has to be getting your work done. And that's kind of the trick. Just consistency. A lot of it's just consistency. And I don't know why younger people don't know this. You know, I mean, this is something my dad and my grandfather taught me at a very early age. That you just got to get up each day and do it. Most of life is just showing up. And, you know, unfortunately, especially for, you know, I'm fortunate that I kind of got my start in business at sort of the tail end of American success. But especially for younger generations, we aren't going to be able to just ride on the coattails of our forefathers. We're going to have to pave the way ourselves. And, you know, America had an unusually good situation for a long time. We made it through World War II unscathed. Our industry was intact. The rest of the world was dependent on us. And we had this gigantic advantage for like 70 years, which, you know, our previous generation squandered. And it's unfortunate, you know, especially over the last like 20 years, the people running the show just squandered all of the benefits that we had. And, you know, they outsourced all the jobs, all the good and all the manufacturing jobs. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And that made a tight job market, because they could save a little bit of money and they didn't think about the long-term consequences. But don't worry, they got rich in the process. And then they brought in, you know, tens of millions of workers, of foreign workers, to go and do work cheaper here in America. It doesn't matter if they're legal or illegal. You know, just when you bring in hordes of people faster than the job market expands, you end up with downward pressure on wages. That's why it's tough for you to get a job. And with all these extra people in the country, the housing market's tight, which means it costs more for you to get a place to live. And, you know, by grifting off of the economy and over-regulating and picking winners and losers, you know, they're getting their friends rich, but it tightens the economy and makes it harder to build your business successfully. You know, the constant printing and spending of money far beyond what the economy produces causes prices to go up through inflation. So you've got all of these factors that are actually really common throughout history. Most great empires do this kind of stuff when the ruling class becomes too comfortable. And, the media covers for them. They'll lie for as long as they can. Say, oh no, everything's fine. But the reality is that government's not going to save you. You've got to take care of it yourself. And this is why I always tell people, focus on your local community, focus on your self-reliance. And just do what you have to do, because it's a very competitive world. And for better or for worse, with the economy becoming more globalized, you're not just competing against people here, but you're competing against, people off in other countries. For example, the job site that I'll be at today, just like the one that I did the last time I was recording this video, there's going to be people collaborating from all over the world to get this project done. I'll be the hands-on guy because I happen to live the closest. But there's going to be people, from all over the world. We'll have a guy from Brazil that I know of, and there's going to be a guy from Texas, somebody from Ohio. There's going to be people from all over the place working. So you're not just competing in the job market against people in your town. You're competing against with people from all over the place. And if you want to have a high standard of living, which most Americans want, that means you're going to have to find a competitive advantage. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, work harder than everybody else. I mean, that's grandpa talk. I mean, yes, you're going to have to work hard, but you don't want to work yourself to the bone, because then what's the point, right? But you do have to find a niche where you have a competitive advantage. And it's going to be different for each person. You're going to have to find what you're good at. In my case, because I can kind of do a little bit of everything, I can fill that gap. Whenever somebody needs something done, they can call me, and whatever it is, I can show up onto a job site, and no matter what happens, I can handle it. I'm not specialized enough to do any of the really sophisticated things, but there's specialists that you call in for that sort of work. But I'm kind of a generalist. I'm a jack of all trades. And that's a skill unto itself. And a lot of people may say, oh, you have to be in STEM, science and engineering, and, that helps. I know a lot of out-of-work English majors, but being able to communicate, being able to write down ideas, that's a skill too, that's useful. You just have to find a way to market it. So, communicate with others, let them know what you can do, and be useful, be reliable, be that guy that always shows up on time, that you show up early, and make sure that you get the job done. And that goes an awfully long ways towards making you competitive. And then a lot of it comes down to being disciplined, live below your means, spend less money than you earn. All the usual financial advice stuff. There's lots of people who give you good advice about that. It's generally true. Don't do a bunch of stupid stuff. I find my life is a lot easier and less expensive because I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs, which means I save a lot of money and I don't end up in jail. So, and I'm not saying get rid of all your vices. I've got some vices. I like playing video games late at night before an important job site. But I was responsible about it. I quit, well enough in advance that I could still get plenty of rest. So you just got to find that right balance. And just not only accept the fact that life is going to be hard, but embrace the challenge. And that's really what it is. Just life is a challenge that you can overcome. It's a series of challenges, and as you overcome these challenges, you'll become a better, more confident person. So, also, being good at overcoming challenges is good practice for picking up girls, because girls don't like losers. So there's your dating advice for the day. So those are kind of my morning thoughts while I'm eating breakfast and driving to my job site. And there's no big secret to it. You know, you don't have to be brilliant. That's the other thing. You only have to be smart enough to get the job done. Beyond a certain point, once you're smart enough to get the job done, everything else is just showing up and doing it. So, you know, don't worry if you're not the smartest person in the world or the most experienced person in the world. That all comes with time. Just develop your skills, be good enough to get the job done, and then just do it. And keep doing it until you're successful. But also don't force yourself into a field that you're no good at. You know, find what you're good at, try a bunch of different things when you're starting out, and you'll get there. Anyway, those are my morning thoughts while I'm eating breakfast, so I'm going to drive for a little while, and maybe I'll do another video while I'm driving, because I've got a long drive. So I will see everybody next time. Goodbye.